In this video, I'm going to teach you how to make tech house like Chris Lake like this. Hi, my name is Vlad, I'm a DJ and one-man band music producer. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and smash that like button. With that said, let's start with the tutorial. I'm going to start with the kick and the bass. In tech house music, the kick and the bass are the main elements, the main driving elements of the track. So usually it's also the melody of the track. So the vocal and the kick and the bass are the elements that create the groove. So tech house is not really about the melody, the chords, although we can have some chords and melodies, but they are not as important as the bass and the kick. And if you really want to make your track sound more professional, make sure to spend time on creating a good bass melody and working on the low end. And I'm going to show you guys how to do that. So in tech house, the most common thing you will ever see is this thing. So let me show you. This semitone is the thing that creates tension, and I hear that so often, and I think 90% of tech house tracks will use that semitone because it creates tension, and I think that's really the signature thing in tech house music. Yes, it's not used always, but very, very often. And usually, so we have root note. That's so commonly used in tech house. So if I would have to give you just one tip, that would be use this semitone. So let's listen to the bass line. And basically that's it. In tech house, you need to create a catchy and repetitive bass line. Sometimes it can be just one bar long, but sometimes it can be up to 5 bars long. And if you use a loop which is 2 bars long, you can add some variation to make it more interesting and not as repetitive. Although repetitiveness in tech house, it's a signature thing, I would say. And if you want to make your tech house bass really fat, I'm going to give you one tip here, guys. So use a simple waveform, like in this example, I'm using square. You can use saw, just basic waveforms like these four. These are the fundamental waveforms. And square is the fattest one, but I also like using saw. It really depends on the track, on the context. That is how the saw sounds. Yeah, the square is fatter, has more energy. I also have a bass layer, which is basically just the same as the main bass, but I've chosen slightly different waveforms, so it sounds different. Let me play you. So that how it was in the original track by Chris Lake. I've tried to recreate it. And yeah, you can use this technique, just use the same notes, but sometimes you can layer 2 basses to make your bass line low end more complex. And finally, for the low end, I have this tom. Listen carefully, guys. Yeah, it adds groove. I love using toms for my low end, just as a layer to my bass line. And yeah, that's it with the kick and the bass. I've spent a lot of time on explaining things because it's very, very important, guys. Because if you don't spend enough time on creating a good low end, your track is just not going to sound professional. It's not going to work in the club. And obviously, this is not what you want. So make sure to follow these tips. And let's move to the main lead sound, which sounds like that. I'm going to mute the reverb just for a second. And the lead sound is a bit more complex, but I'm going to explain how I've done it. So we have two oscillators. You can use any synthesizer. For this example, I'm using Diva, but I'm going to explain how I've done that. So we use the oscillators, we use a filter, and the envelope 2, which is here, it controls the filter. So if I would go like that, you see, you hear. And I'm also using chorus, so without the chorus, without the reverb, yeah, it doesn't sound that wide, that deep and lush. So with the chorus, with the reverb, sounds like that. And the main thing that makes this lead sound more interesting and creates that vibe is the tune modulation. So I'm modulating the pitch with the LFO. So if I would bypass that and do like that, yeah, it's just a basic lead, nothing really that complicated here. But with LFO, with a tune modulation, you see, it becomes more interesting. And I'm also using a glide here, because I just love using glide. You don't have to do that, but if you also like glide, it's really cool. So you can, if you're using Diva, it's located here in tuning. So you have the glide and glide 2 options. So play around with these and find a time, like the time for a glide which fits the vibe of your track. And finally, I have a vocal.
There's a time that has never been sung.
And let's play the whole loop together. And finally, let's talk about the drums. The drums here are actually very, very simple. And I want to stress that thing, guys. Simplicity is the thing that is going to make your track sound more professional. And this is such a common mistake I see and that I've done myself when I was starting, when I started making music, is that you are trying to add some elements to the mix. But really, if you can make an interesting sound with fewer elements in your track, so let's say the kick, the bass, the lead, drums, vocal, and maybe some chords, you don't need a lot, really. So if you like this track, I think it sounds cool. You can really hear that it's just the kick, the bass, the vocal, the lead, and the drums. I don't have anything else. And in tech house, it's all about simplicity. That is such a common mistake people make, especially when they try to make music in genres like tech house, minimal techno, deep tech. It's really about working with elements, developing them, and even resampling, adding effects. So instead of adding, try to use what you have, and that will take your tracks to the next level. That at least how it was with me. So now I'm not trying to add 100 tracks to my mix, but you can do that, of course. It's not wrong, but just make sure it's really simple. And let me show you the hats. So we have a hat, the basic hat and the ride. and a clap and a cowbell, which is the main percussive sound. Yeah, you can really guys hear that just the kick, the bass, the drums, and the vocal is everything you need. And especially in tech house, you need a vocal, the kick, the bass, drums, that's it. If vocal is good, maybe if it's some singing, maybe if it's a catchy loop, catchy phrases, you don't need a lot, you see. So yeah, that was all for today, guys. Let me know if you've learned something from this video, if you found value in this tutorial. I'd love to hear what you think in the comments below. And also, guys, if you watched this far, if you feel like you need help, you need mentor, I want to invite you for a free strategy call. I'm now doing one-on-one consultations, and the call is free. During the call, we will identify the problems, what holds you back, like what do you need to learn, and why you are not progressing and not achieving the desired results in music. So if you're ready to take your music career to the next level, if you want to transition from a beginner music producer to a professional full-time musician, I'm going to put a link where you can book a time for a free strategy call with me, as well as the link to the download page. You can download the project. So yeah, guys, just go ahead, click the link, book your time, and let's work on your music together. Thank you very much, guys, for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.